I figured it out my why, because my why was I want to live up to my potential. My dream, I want to bring it into reality. I want to touch it, I want to see it, I want to feel it. So I went to John Maxwell certification in the US. I attended a program called coaching certification in Harvard University, and a couple of other programs in the US and also in the UK. So that journey took off from that very moment.
Hello, welcome to another episode of Flourishing Workplace. I am Rosalind Fung, and I'm here today with Coach Kamrul, who has just made his way all the way from Bangladesh to move to Canada.
That's right.
Calgary, Alberta specifically. And this is actually our first day meeting. We have been colleagues for a number of years with Flourishing Workplace, and we get to meet today in real life. So I'm so excited for you to be here, Kamrul. I'd love to hear your personal story. This morning I had asked you, we need to talk about this on the podcast. What, first of all, inspired you to move to a whole new country with a whole new weather system for you and your family?
Right.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about that.
I think it all began since 2008 when I actually realized who am I and what is my potentiality, why I am here on this earth. At the time, I was working for one of the largest bank in Bangladesh, and before that, the story began since 1997 when I started my first working as a bookseller on the street. I was selling Encyclopedia Britannica on the street, and then I came across selling credit card in 2001 in a bank called HSBC. You know it, right?
We sure do know HSBC,
right.
Yes.
And then I moved towards the telecommunication sector with Ericsson and then Huawei and Jetty. Why I'm sharing this is because although I have been working with all those multinational big giants of the world, but inside of mine, I was not really happy. I was suffering. And this question really bugged me so much so, hey, what do you want to achieve in life?
Yeah.
Is it something you want to be the CEO, running a big entrepreneurship, multinational companies? At the time, it actually shifted from my inside. While I was finding to answer those questions. What do you want to achieve?
Yes.
What do you want to create your legacy in life?
Beautiful.
At that time, I actually figured it out in my mind that
it feels like in your heart too, because you keep pointing to your heart. It was like something shifted inside so deeply.
Yeah. I was suffering. I was not in a position to accelerate my career, to live up to that potential that I thought I have.
Can you guys feel the energy, by the way? Like, wow, like I'm there with you. It's like as soon as you had those realizations, you're asking yourself those questions, which is self-reflection, self-evaluation. And I believe that's so important for us to grow, for us to continue moving the needle forward in our life, in our business, continuing to look at who am I? What do I want? What's my purpose here? And I can feel that energy so deeply.
Absolutely.
And that's what propelled you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I was going towards this direction. My life was settled in the corporate, big corporate settings as people grow, right?
Yeah.
That was fine.
Yeah.
But probably that was not the destiny I was destined to. Right. Then I realized, hey, I have, I think, larger potential within me sitting. It's like a cage. It wants to come out.
Yes, I know that feeling. I know that feeling when it's like, I don't know what's happening, but it feels so good and it feels so aligned and feels so right. I don't know what's that mystery. It's like embracing the mystery, right? Because it feels so good, and it's like this act. It's like that fire in your belly.
Correct.
Just gets lit up, and you're like, I'm going, I'm unstoppable.
Absolutely. And then I figured it out that inside my mind, I was a kind of rebellion in character. You know what rebellion is?
Yes.
You don't want to sit in a box.
Yes.
Not wanting to follow all
Kamrul,
these
you and I
rules.
are cut from the same cloth. Absolutely. I don't like boxes.
Right.
This is why I retired as a psychologist. I'm like, it's too boxy.
Right. So then it took me time. Since 2017, I came out of my job.
Yes.
And not knowing what is the next.
Yes.
Because living paycheck to paycheck last 17 years. And then 2017, I took a call jumping out of the table. But, hang on. It's not the table. I was jumping out of a aeroplane, helicopter, flying tens of thousands of feet above.
Yep. You're taking the huge leap of faith.
Right.
You took the huge leap of faith.
I had 2 kids at the time. Earlier I had a paycheck, which is very nice in the country. 6-figure.
Security.
Yeah, security, social identity.
Yes.
And then jumping all of a sudden without having any parachute.
Yes, I've done that, my friend. Yes.
You know it is going to keep you safe.
Yes.
That moment, I actually started to explore the potential, the opportunities.
Can you guys feel how alive Coach Kamrul is in this moment as he's telling the story, right? I absolutely have a paralleling story with you. It's like, for me, it was, okay, I'm going to start a new business. I'm going to retire as a psychologist. And like, oh my God, this is so scary. This is so scary because the security, even though I was in private practice, but there's security of the, benefits coverage, right? The false security.
Right.
And like that success I had already built for myself. And yet it didn't quite feel aligned. As much as I love being a psychologist, it was like moving forward and going, okay, I'm doing it. So I can feel the aliveness that comes with it. And you move past that fear. It's like, okay, we're doing it. Yeah. That's amazing. Alive.
I got the relief. I knew things born out of me.
Yes.
Because now I can fly.
Yes.
Even though I don't have wings.
Yes.
But, I created, or the Almighty, or the, entire being created while flying.
Yes.
So then I went to US for, learning. I figured it out my why. Because my why was I want to live up to my potential.
Yes.
My dream, I want to bring it into reality.
Yes.
I want to touch it, I want to see it, I want to feel it.
Beautiful.
So I went to, John Maxwell certification in the US.
Yes.
I attended a program called, coaching certification in Harvard University, and a couple of other programs in the US and also in the UK. So,
wow.
That journey took off from that very moment. Little bit of, I knew about Canada and this part of the world, but I had in my mind that I want to live my life.
Yes.
I want to, do whatever it takes me to do, without limiting myself in a box or in a particular place. So I opened up. I allowed myself. I've given myself self-permission. Yes, go and do it.
Yes.
Go and fail it.
Yes. A couple of things I want to say. So many things, but I want to just point out how much you have developed self-trust in this process. Because without that, you wouldn't have taken that leap of faith. And maybe, would you say that self-trust was developing, or it was already quite developed before you took that leap of faith?
It was developing, I was scared.
Yes.
Coming from a third world country, underdeveloping or developing country, like Southeast Asia, you can understand, right?
Yes.
So I did not have the education that befitting with, this kind of culture, number one thing. Number two, I was, coming from sales background, account management, relationship management. Not in my life, in the 17 years, I did anything about, human resources development, training, speaking, coaching.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
In our corporate culture, you have the corporate, HR, right? Who are you?
Yeah.
Do you have the background of teaching, training, lecturing, coaching? No, I don't have.
Yes.
So that means there is a prejudgment.
Yes.
People will judge you.
Yes.
They would not give you access to.
Yes.
And that's okay. I took a call knowing that, and I allowed myself again.
Wow.
People would criticize me and I would fail, but I did not stop myself in unfolding the true potential that I could leverage on.
I want to highlight that because, at least in my experiences with a lot of clients, they feel perhaps imposter syndrome, not good enough. They need more credentials. They need more education. I myself, every time I level up, I definitely notice my imposter syndrome come up. And what I love about you and your spirit is you're just so led with, you know what, that's just ego stuff. I'm going to just go and do it anyway. And the worst that can happen is they say, no, then I'm going to find another door. I'm going to find another door. And I think that's so powerful. And I think that's such a valuable takeaway points that I want to highlight here.
Thank you. And then I actually, in 2019, I still remember, my logo, because I was creating my own business, and after quitting my job, it has a line: international trainer, speaker, and coach. International, not like local. I mean global. Then people again laughed at me. Hey, you're coming from, people really literally mocked me, from Bangladesh. You want to go global, internationally. I kept on putting that intention out loud in my mouth, out loud in the intention, not knowing how it's going to happen. Because at that moment, I actually figured it out. How is not my call.
Wow. Okay. Also, something big is you had naysayers. You had naysayers who were trying to keep you small, probably not out of ill will or bad intentions, but they were like, you want to do that? And it's because no one else had that big, you are a visionary, that big vision, be like, I want to go international. How did you deal with those naysayers? How did you keep going anyway?
Then I realized actually people, they will think based on their, past experience, what they said. Some people said, society said, education system taught them, hey, you are actually not eligible, so you don't go beyond this. So you are not fit for this, So people will talk about based on the experience, based on the learnings, based on the society that taught them, institutions taught them, social media taught them, right? Your nearest one taught them, and that's okay. And that's their thought. Earl Nightingale once said in his speech, right? When people say or give you advice, remember it is the most cheapest commodity on this earth and planet, because they give this advice based on their experience, based on their learning, based on who they think who they are. Nothing to do with me.
Correct. So I love that, because I like how I also think is if somebody's giving me their opinion, I'm going to sit back and go, okay, are they going where I want to go? Have they already done what I've done? And if the answer is no, then it's not valid advice. It's not valid inputs. Like, thank you so much, but that doesn't, it's not going to align with me, because you don't actually understand and you have not embodied where I'm going. And so it's important to find the people that are going where you're going and where you already want to be, so that you can stay in that energy of yes to your vision.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's what really, I did not accept it. I did not give myself permission to accept their thought and their, thinking process. Rather, I allowed myself, what you said exactly, be among that fraternity, that community, end of the day, you're going to be average of 5 people that you meet, that you associate with. So I figured it out, in 2020, 21, people like Abe and people and some other people around the world, and then in 2024, I'm here. That's it.
Incredible. Manifested. International.
Right. That is. Had I been allowed myself to accept somebody else's limited thought, limited belief, I would not be sitting here with you.
We would not be having this conversation.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I just arrived.
I just got goosebumps thinking about that, right? Because we all have free will. We all have choice. And where our attention goes, our energy flows. So if our attention goes on to giving our power away to what other people are thinking, what other people's opinions are, and not listening to ourselves, where we're betraying ourselves, we're going to take that path that's like not going to really be in our highest timeline, our highest service, our highest good. And not just for us, but for the world and how we serve.
That's right.
Wow.
That's right.
Wow.
It has to be aligned within the core values and core who we are. And then I believe that everything will fall into places. In 2 words, it would happen naturally. And it would happen effortlessly.
Yes.
flow.
Yes. Exactly. I know that we can continue this conversation. We will have another episode. And so thank you so much for jamming with me.
My pleasure.
Love your passion. I feel it. I'm like, oh my gosh, we're more alike than I know. So this is so wonderful. Thank you, Coach Kamrul. Please go to flourishingworkplace.com. Check us out there. If you're enjoying this conversation, we'd love to hear your takeaways. We'd love to see you take inspired action, and we'll see you in our next episodes. I'm Rosalind Fung, and
Coach Kamrul Hassan.
Thank you for being with us today.